May I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is the last time I'm going to talk to you. I'm sure you're as sick of my voice as I am at this point. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but there's a couple of points that I want to touch on about what defense just mentioned. He said that the officers were rude, disrespectful, and mean. That's actually not what Daisy said yesterday on the stand. She even mentioned that they let her go to the bathroom at her house. They spoke to her. She even said to Officer Edwards, nobody would have done this to him. I don't know who would. Except on cross-examination, what she said was, I shouldn't have, because she knew she had other options. She knew if we take her at her word, and I think we can all agree there is absolutely zero reason to take her at her word at this point, lie after lie after lie. This happened 5 days ago. She says she spoke to the police. Maybe, maybe not. Lie after lie after lie. She shouldn't have. If that's true, despite the fact that on her phone, those videos conveniently aren't there, call the cops, tell them. Let them know. Take your kids and flee. Your kids, your children, your 8-year-old and your 5-year-old, take them. Get them away from that dangerous man. That's what she wants you to believe. Instead, though, what does she do? According to her, he leaves. She goes in her car, goes back home, takes a nap. Day later, day after that, Pedro comes over. They sleep together. They mentioned that I mentioned on my closing argument that I said that the defendant was upset that the victim wasn't home. And they said, that's not true. There's no evidence of that. That's actually not true. She says at some point in her statement, I don't have the timestamp, but she says in her statement, it's not fair. I told my mom it's not fair. He's always on the run. He's never home. She says directly to the officers, it's not fair. I'm upset. Almost beaten to death. These are horrible. Horrible. But as we heard, Daisy admitted she herself is an abuser. These are horrible, but these happened 5 days before. Was it going through her mind when she invited him over the day after or the day after that? Was it going through her mind when she picked him up from a friend's house? It wasn't. She had forgotten about this. She even said it on the stand yesterday. How do we know it was their home? Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Daisy Link told us it was yesterday. She said Pedro never had a key, except on cross, she said, well, actually, he may have. When he left, he probably had a key to my house. They lived together. How do we know? Well, here's the thing. On Pedro's address, it has a on his license, it has a certain address on it. But what else? It has that address on it. Mail that was found in a car with Daisy Link's name on it as well. They lived together. But you don't have to take the evidence like that. Pedro Jr. said the same thing. He said, my dad lives in my car, or his car, because he's a trucker. He's never home, except when he's home. He lives here. He sleeps on the couch sometimes, sure. But this is his home. He said that as much. The court order, I'm sorry, the court order, this is what they thought of it. They thought it was trash. That's what they did with it. They threw it on the ground. They didn't care about it. How do we know that? It's on video. She's giving him more than what this says. This, to them, was trash. There is no termination of parental rights. They ignored it over and over and over again. The pistol whipping episode from 5 days ago, if you take her at her word, and you shouldn't, there is no reason to take Daisy Link at her word. But if you take her at her word, it happened 5 days before. And then they slept together. And then she picked him up. And the interesting thing there about picking him up from the friend's house is she says it's a drug den. There's prostitutes, there's drugs throughout. He's a monster on drugs. Well, we have it on video of them actually arriving back from that house. You tell me if that looks like an angry, aggressive man playing with his children. Apparently high on cocaine, according to Daisy at that point. A monster is what she said. Except she let that monster hang around her children. Play with them. Be around the house. The video that was destroyed, it wasn't some cover up. It wasn't a conspiracy. They actually explained explicitly how. Sergeant Fernandez came in and explained she was called out on scene, plugged in a hard drive. It wasn't working. So what they do? They have to take it back to headquarters. There is a specific program that they use. And she explained, if they run that program on that hard drive, plug it back in, it will delete everything. It will reset the hard drive. And so what do? They attempt and attempt and attempt to get that video, but they can't. And they give up. And so they return it back to the homeowner, who then plugs it back in. It's an old hard drive. It got reset. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, Daisy Link's story doesn't make any sense. And the reason it doesn't make any sense is because of the gunshot and how it traveled. Because what she says is he was charging at me and I fired. The only way this gunshot, this trajectory makes any sense at all is if he is running away. That upwards trajectory through the foot, in the neck, through the thigh, in and out, mean is dead. Is it his back is turned and he is actually running away? Otherwise, you'd have an injury that way to hit the front of his body. That's not what happened here.
30 more seconds.
We know what happened here. We know that Daisy Link purposely discharged that firearm at Pedro Jimenez as he fled her. The state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she is guilty of second-degree murder, and you should find her guilty as such. Thank you.
Thank you. On page 19. In just a few moments, you will be taken to the jury room by the bailiff. The first thing you should do is choose a foreperson who will preside over your deliberations. The foreperson should see to it that your discussions are carried on in an organized way and that everyone has a fair chance to be heard. It is also the foreperson's job to sign and date the verdict form when you all have agreed on a verdict and to bring the verdict form back to the courtroom when you return. During deliberations, jurors must communicate about the case only with one another and only when all jurors are present in the jury room. If a juror goes to the restroom, the deliberation should stop until the juror returns. You are not to communicate with any other person outside the jury room about this case. Until you have reached a verdict, you must not talk about this case in person or through the telephone, writing, or electronic communication, such as an email or any other means. Do not contact anyone to assist you during the deliberations. These communications rules apply until I discharge you at the end of the case. If you become aware of any violation of these instructions or any other instruction I have given you in this case, you must tell me by giving a note to the bailiff. Many of you have cell phones, tablets, laptops, or other electronic devices here in the courtroom. The rules do not allow you to bring your phones or any of those types of electronic devices into the jury room. Kindly leave those devices at your seats where they will be guarded by the bailiff while you deliberate. You can send a note or a phone call to your loved ones, letting them know you're deliberating before Umberto takes those electronic devices. If you need to communicate with me, so from this point on, if you're going to communicate with me, send a note through the bailiff. If you have voted, do not disclose the actual vote in the note. If you have a question, I will talk with the lawyers before I answer. So it may take some time. You may continue your deliberations while you wait for my answer. I will answer any questions if I can in writing or orally here in open court. During trial, items were received into evidence as exhibits. You may examine whatever exhibits you think will help you in your deliberations. These exhibits will be sent into the jury room with you when you begin to deliberate. If there's something missing, send a note. or we'll try to communicate with you if there's anything that we needed to keep back with us. If you need extra copies of anything, such as the transcripts, let us know. I can make 6 copies for you all. In closing, let me remind you that it is important that you follow the law spelled out in these instructions in deciding your verdict. There are no other laws that apply to this case. Even if you do not like the laws that must be applied, you must use them. For more than 2 centuries, we have lived by the Constitution and the law. No juror has the right to violate the rules we share. You can keep those copies with you. One of them has to be signed and submitted to me, by me to the clerk. I have 3 jurors, so I know that you all have been very dedicated. We can hear you laughing, so I think you all have become close since then. That's a good thing. But there's 3 dedicated jurors that will be leaving us. So you're going to go with Umberto up to my office. We have lunch for you. I'll shake your hand and thank you. It is Grace Rivas, Liseth del Carmen Meza, and Crystal Martinez. So just keep all your stuff with you. Follow Umberto and Lisette up to the 4th floor. And then you all can go into the jury room now.
All
Take-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna go to the
If you want, take your time, send the message. Umberto will collect your electronic devices. Thank you.
I wouldn't.
All right, jurors have left. Lawyers, please take a look at the exhibits. If there's a clean laptop, I'd like to send that back.
Yes,
Judge, can I just run to Dillo's quote real quick?
Oh, sure.
I'll clean up my mess.
All right, we can go off record when Mr. Thomas comes back. We'll discuss the exhibits. Okay.